Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and today's day is Rasmus Hojlund Day. Rasmus Hojlund is like 99.999999999999999% done. It's literally like a matter of we just gotta wait. We just gotta wait until Romano says those magical three words. Here we go. He is in England. He travelled with Atalanta to the Vitality Stadium but did not play, and he waved and shook hands with his teammates as if he was saying goodbye. Sources are saying that he will stay in England to complete his Manchester United medical. Lots of sources from Romano, Sky Sports, Fabrizio Romano, and more are saying Hojlund is in England. It's his dream to play for United. That's all agreed. The 6-year deal was all agreed. The clubs are reaching an agreement. It's very close. It couldn't be any closer. It could be done in minutes. It could be done in hours. Knowing United, it probably won't be done for 24 hours. It'll be days. When you think it's going to be minutes, it turns into hours at United. When you think it's going to be hours, it turns into days. But generally, this deal is basically almost done. We will get into the news on Rasmus Hojlund, what exactly has been said. And then we're actually going to talk about Rasmus Hojlund, why this is a fantastic signing. Part of me's like, I should just pre-record a Rasmus Hojlund Here We Go video because I'm out tonight. And I feel like it's just going to drop tonight and I won't be able to make a video when we actually get the official Here We Go. But no, my luck, how many times have I done a live stream and then we've got a Here We Go mid-live stream? I have this thing at the moment. I go live and then you just get Here We Go mid-live stream, so you never know. Anyway, we got news on Kobbie Mainoo. We got news on Ten Hag making some changes. We've got an update on Greenwood. We've got hypocrites talking about the Manchester United takeover, but we're going to mostly be focusing on Hojlund. Then we've got some news on Todibo. Then we've got news on sort of the United centre-back situation. But smash the like button as well. Remember, De Jong was 95% done. The difference between Rasmus Hojlund and Frankie De Jong is Frankie De Jong never agreed to join United. He never agreed personal terms. Rasmus Hojlund has. Okay? We agreed a deal with Barcelona, but Frankie de Jong didn't agree a deal with United. We're the opposite of Hojlund. We've agreed a deal with Hojlund. We're just trying to agree a deal with Atalanta. When we missed out on Sancho that summer, Sancho had agreed to join, but we didn't agree a deal with Dortmund. We missed out on De Jong. We agreed a deal with Barcelona because they wanted to sell De Jong. We didn't agree with De Jong. So De Jong was never more than really 85% done when you actually deep it. But there were sources that lied to us. But Rasmus Hojlund is I'd say, essentially 99% done as well. Fred, Donny and Maguire could be leaving. Fred and Donny likely to go. Maguire's definitely up in the air as well. Hojlund had 0 minutes in the friendly. Hojlund had 0 minutes because both parties agreed it's not worth playing him in the friendly and potentially risking an injury as well. Qatar Ingles is out, of course, and looks like we hope he hits the grass running, but he's only a kid. We still need a proper striker midfielder. Exactly. My big fear of Rasmus Hojlund is there's going to be a few idiots out there that if he has 1 or 2 iffy games because he's a raw young talent to begin with will turn on him and say he's not good enough and knock his confidence. I want to say to people like Rasmus Hojlund, let's hope he hits the ground running. He's a kid. You've got to remember this guy is 20 years of age. Like people were expecting him to come in and do what Harry Kane's going to do. He's not quite going to do that. He's going to be a great signing and he is going to have an immediate impact. And I'm going to talk about why in a second. But I don't want to get those idiots who will watch Rasmus Hojlund play one game and go, he's rubbish. You know, we've seen people decide, I've seen people online actually say that, Casemiro's rubbish because he had an iffy preseason game, or Mason Mount's rubbish. Like, we're judging players off pre-season. If you're judging players off pre-season, Andreas Pereira would be Manchester United's greatest ever player. I tell you what, Andreas Pereira was not good enough for United. So, you get those idiots saying, Casemiro is not good enough because they don't like how he played versus Real Madrid. And he wasn't good versus Real Madrid, but we know Casemiro is good enough. But I don't want Rasmus Hojlund to play 2 games for Man United and then you get idiots FC go, Rasmus is not good enough as well. Hojlund not winning us the league, I think he needs help. Hojlund and Kane could maybe win you the league. The thing is, if we get Amrabat and Kane, potentially we can win the league. But yeah, Hojlund isn't a league-winning striker, but Hojlund is definitely someone that can get you to the top. And you never know, Sancho false 9, Rashford could also play striker, can get you through the door. But yeah, I don't think United are realistic winning the Kane. If we get Rasmus, is Kane in the bin? Kane, and I got asked this yesterday actually, Kane to United is essentially in the bin unless we get Qatar. Kane to United, this is it. Kane goes to Bayern this summer or he stays at Spurs. If Kane stays at Spurs, unless Spurs start playing really good under the new manager, there's no way Kane's signing a contract. If Kane stays at Spurs, he could be available cheap in January because Levy will be told you have to sell him in January or like you're losing him for free because he can sign pre-contracts with abroad clubs for free. So Kane is, and this is the thing about Bayern is they've been asked to pay 100 million for Kane, but they know they can get Kane for 3 in 6 months' time and just wait another season. Although Bayern are kind of desperate for a striker, they're an ambitious club. But basically, I think Kane depends on if he goes to Bayern or not. I don't think we'll get Kane this summer unless we got some ridiculous outs, like someone gave us 70 million for Sancho, which is unlikely. But, you know, Arsenal paid 65 million for Havertz. So I think it's going to happen. I think it's just Hojlund. I think if we do get another attacker in, it would be like a Kudus, be like a João Felix, someone that's not going to cost us too much money. But I think Kane in January could be available at cut price if he doesn't go to Bayern Munich. But I think Kane in January would depend on the Qataris and the takeover, in all honesty. I think a lot of it is to do with the takeover as well. Big up everybody in the chat as well. Time to paint the town red. Alice, where are the Todibo links coming from? They're just coming from France. They're not coming from the best sources in the world. It's the same sources linking us with Disassi. United are monitoring them, but United aren't acting on it as well. But I'm going to get into some of the live chats, and obviously I'm going to get into the news as well. So do smash the like button. Amrabat is to help Casemiro cover for defence. Yeah, Kobbie Mainoo's injured. McTominay's iffy. We definitely need Amrabat's Casemiro. And Hojlund is essentially a here we go. So I actually want to get into the Rasmus Hojlund news. I want to actually get into what was said by whom and why it is so close. I mean, look, you know it's close, but we'll get into the news. It was said Rasmus Hojlund to Man United should be close for around 70 million euros, which is just under 60 million pounds. The agreement is getting very close in recent minutes. Intermediaries are sorting the last deals. Di Marzio, Italian news, top tier. Di Marzio, tier freaking one people. Di Marzio is saying the deal should be close to 70 million euros. Agreement is very close in recent minutes. So Man United are giving Atalanta what they want, 70 million euros. And the deal is going to be closed in coming minutes. Essentially, we're told that it's very likely that we're going to get here we go for Rasmus Hojlund. It was also said on Rasmus Hojlund, as you know, Rasmus Hojlund is in England, and Rasmus Hojlund didn't play versus Bournemouth today in England. He sat on the bench. And there are reports coming out saying that Hojlund will not travel back with the Atlanta players to Italy. Hojlund will stay in England for his medical. And the reason Man United want to get the Hojlund deal done this weekend is so Hojlund can stay in England to do his medical right away. That's why United are working really hard on Hojlund, because he's in England. And it was said that Rasmus Hojlund went to a number of Atalanta players on the pitch to shake hands, and it looked like he was saying his goodbyes versus Bournemouth today. And, you know, very much moving fast. And hopefully we get here we go for Hojlund tonight as well. We have got news on Greenwood, but I don't want to touch too much upon it as well. But you know, we'll see what happens with Greenwood. You know, it's all speculation, this and that. But I'm here to talk about Rasmus Hojlund for those of you putting that in the chat. But obviously Hojlund in England, what else was said on Hojlund? So, you know, Fabrizio Romano obviously again confirmed that Rasmus Hojlund is in England. We had Fabrizio Romano come in earlier to say Justin Hojlund will not play in Atalanta's friendly today versus Bournemouth. The club don't want to obviously risk the deal when it's at such an advanced stage. And Romano said about an hour ago that Atalanta and United are very close to reaching an agreement for Hojlund, and that reports close to Atalanta are saying Hojlund to United is 99% agreed and 99% close to completion as well. And then we had further confirmation. I'm not sure if you guys watched the Atalanta game today, but Hojlund was present, but obviously did not play. We've got further confirmation that Rasmus Hojlund is at the Vitali Stadium in England, but is not in the starting lineup. Hojlund went to a number of players on the pitch to shake hands and looked like he was saying goodbye. And then more news came out about how it's Hojlund's dream to play for United. Romano then said United and Atalanta are in the final stages, and that there is an expectation that Hojlund could stay in England to complete his medical as well. And all that's being held up now is the structure of the add-ons. If we actually go and see what Fabrizio Romano has tweeted, we should really be putting these Fabrizio Romano notifications on when you're deep it, shouldn't we? You know, he said 0 minutes today for Rasmus Hojlund in Bournemouth game, United and Atalanta in final stages, add-ons being discussed. We should really get these Romano notifications on, because I think it's only a matter of time before we get here we go as well. Hojlund is a gamble. It's not like he is Ronaldo. Well, Ronaldo was a gamble when we got him, when you think about how young he was, but not like he's Van Persie. So it's hard to be optimistic right now. It's going to take time to build, especially with 4 or 5 players into the team of gel. Yeah, I think Hojlund will improve us. I think he provides a focal point. I think as a team he will improve us, but he's not going to come in and do maybe what you'd expect someone like Harry Kane to do. You know, I'm a big admirer of Rasmus Hojlund. I think Rasmus Hojlund's an incredible player, but he's not like that Harry Kane crazy level of player that you just know is going to come in and score like 30, 40 goals. I think he's capable of getting about 12 Premier League goals, which I think is quite good, 12 to 15 Premier League goals. And considering Rashford was the only player that got more than 10 goals for United next season, you've got to look at that as a positive. I saw quite a good thread on Rasmus Hojlund. People were talking about why Hojlund would improve United. And I saw a good thread talking about why Hojlund would massively improve United. And people obviously said, you know, United struggled in front of goal last season. United actually had the third highest XG in the Premier League and created the third most amount of big chances in the Premier League last season to score the 9th amount of goals. United actually underperformed XG more than anyone else last season. That's a statistic for you. This is why we need a striker so badly. No team in the Premier League last season underperformed XG more than United. United had an XG of about 70 goals and they got 58 from that. That is one of the worst you've ever seen in Premier League in terms of finishing. And obviously we did have that Weghorst as well. And first of all, Rasmus Hojlund's an improvement on that Weghorst, but so are most players. But people talk about Rasmus Hojlund's numbers. Oh my God, he got 9 goals in the Serie A. Oh, shut up. He got 10 goals in all comps, 9 goals in the Serie A with 2 assists. But he does, per 90, he gets a goal every other game, essentially. He gets a goal or assist every 4.7 times per 90, which is 50%. 50% of the 90 minutes he's had, he's got a goal or assist. So he registers a goal or assist just every other game. Just to put that into context, Rashford registers a goal or assist every 0.49 Premier League games. He is registering a goal or assist every 0.47 Serie A games, and you're wondering why. But Rashford got 30 goals, he got 10 goals. What's the difference? Because Rasmus Hojlund has only played the equivalent of 20 full 90s. 20 full 90s in the Serie A last season. And Rasmus Hojlund actually, in terms of shots, in terms of conversion, is actually quite good for the chances he has. We spoke about how Manchester United had one of the lowest underperforming XG sides. Rasmus Hojlund has proven to be clinical. Rasmus Hojlund, we've seen him. We saw what he did with Denmark. Rasmus Hojlund is the top scorer in the Euro qualifier. He got that fantastic hat-trick against Finland. And what we know about Rasmus Hojlund is he is capable of scoring goals. Rasmus Hojlund has definitely been brought off potential, what he has the potential to do. But we 100% know that Rasmus Hojlund is capable of scoring goals. We've seen it we've seen it against Finland. He was getting in the right positions. He was getting in the 6-yard point and what 6-yard box. And what Man United have lacked massively in a striker, and this is why I think Rasmus Hojlund will just make such an instant impact, whether he's ready or not, is because at least he's got the striker instinct, as he's going to get in the 6-yard box. He's going to be in those positions. The amount of times we've had attacks and there's just no one there to pass it to. There's no focal point. Rasmus Hojlund has goal-scoring instincts. He knows when to make those runs, where to move to, where to be. He knows how to score. He's got that about him. And Rasmus Hojlund, you know, he's 6'3". He can run like 100 meters in like 10, 11 seconds, which is pretty rapid. You know, and people say, oh, you know, he's 6'3", he doesn't score headers. Weghorst was 6'6", he didn't score headers. But he's 6'3", he's very physical. And I think to be a striker at such a young age, you have to be physical. He's also ridiculously quick. He's like Haaland. He's quick, he's physical, and he also ranks in the 99th percentile for progressive passes in the top 5 league. He's also very creative as a striker. You might go, look, he only got 2 assists, but if you actually look at his creative statistics, he has been very creative as a striker, and he has got decent finishing as well. We know that obviously Hojlund is left-footed, so it'd be nice to have a bit more left-footers in the squad as well. So that I guess you could say that's a positive in terms of diversity. But I've always said with Hojlund, he will have an impact because he's got the positional awareness, the physical awareness. He can make those runs in behind. He can score goals. He can link play. He's going to improve the players around us. But also with Rasmus Hojlund, the reason we're paying a lot of money for him, because yeah, he might only be a £30 million player now, but the reason Atalanta wants £60 million for him is the player he's going to become in the future. The potential of a player Rasmus Hojlund could be, he could reach these kind of unreal levels, which is essentially why, you know, Man United are being quoted at so much money. You know, 60 million euros, which is about 50 million pounds. Sorry, 70 million euros, which is about 60 million pounds, including add-ons. I also read up that on Hojlund. I've watched some good videos on Hojlund. Jack Fawcett did a really good video analysing Hojlund. I would definitely watch that because I'm not like a analyst or someone like that. I've watched a bit of Hojlund here and there. I've read up about him, but I am not no expert in Rasmus Hojlund. But he's very good. He's very fast and he's very physical, and that's how he gets past defenders. He isn't scared to take on defenders, and he's very good at running through the middle, making those runs. And that would also help players like Rashford and Antony. Hojlund staying central means that Rashford couldn't stay out wide on the left, Antony can stay out wide on the right, which is exactly what Ten Hag does as well. So I think Rasmus Hojlund will really improve players. I think Rasmus Hojlund, his positional sense, will get the best out of Rashford, will get the best out of Antony. Rasmus Hojlund, I think, will link up very, very well with Antony and Rashford. I think because Rasmus Hojlund's runs, the movement he makes in behind. I think that will draw out defenders, which will leave more space for the likes of Rashford and for the likes of Antony. So that's why I think it's exciting, because I think he provides a focal point, someone to cross to. But I also think the runs and the positions that Rasmus Hojlund get into will improve the attack, because I have to say United defensively look fine, but we look a bit disjointed in attack. That is the big problem with United. We've looked heavily disjointed in attack, and we're not scoring those goals. And we know that was the big problem last season, and that's what Rasmus Hojlund would come in and fix. And that's why I think it's such a good signing. We've got Talksport just jumping on the news trend here. Not really anything new, but Talksport saying, breaking just now, Man United on the brink of agreeing a fee with Atalanta over striker Rasmus Hojlund. The total package is expected to be around 60 million in add-ons, and that's coming out from there as well. And Paula says, Hojlund is a gamble. Oh, I read out that one as well, didn't I? Let me scroll down to the live chat. I'm a little bit behind on the live chat as well. Trying to be positive on Hojlund. Yeah, do not doubt Hojlund as well. Someone said this show should have 2,000 viewers. Big up everybody watching. Keep smashing the likes and subscribe down below if you're new. United still reportedly have an interest in Kolo Muani, but I think they're just keeping the interest there in case Atalanta did something crazy. But the fact that Hojlund is in England and is expected to stay in England, and that you've got Romano, Damarcio, basically every single source under the sun that is credible saying that the deal is basically 99% done and the agreement is closed, things will be good as well. I am gutted for Kobbie Mainoo as well. Kobbie Mainoo having to fly back to England due to injury is very, very sad as well. And how many goals do you think Hojlund will score? 12-ish as well. I think he's got capable of scoring 12 to 15 goals in the Premier League, which for a 20-year-old isn't bad. That is pretty good for a 20-year-old as well. Alice, how far is the takeover? Well, Man United will return from pre-season tour next week, and according to Sky Sports sources, we will hear some clarity on the takeover next week. But I mean, how many times have we been told that and heard nothing? So I'd still say you just got to take that with a pinch of salt as well. I can't understand why Hojlund isn't an aerial threat. I mean, Rashford was never an aerial threat, and then last season he scored a few headers. I think it's something Benny McCarthy will work on. One thing you've got to remember, and one thing I want to point out is Benny McCarthy, really improved the United strikers last season, really improved Rashford's striker instinct. Not only is Rasmus Hojlund made for Ten Hag's system and is Ten Hag's young signing that he really rates highly, but Rasmus Hojlund is going to be able to link up and learn from the likes of Benny McCarthy and other players. And I think Benny McCarthy and Ten Hag and a lot of people will be comfortably able to improve Rasmus Hojlund and really get the best out of him as well. So I feel quite positive about Rasmus Hojlund. I feel quite positive about Benny McCarthy as well. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Hojlund. I didn't know much about Hojlund before we were linked to him, but the more I've looked into him and the more I've studied him, I think there's potentially a really good player there in Rasmus Hojlund as well. Thanks for your updates, Alice. Big up everybody watching. Takeover news, as I've said, it is just so boring. It's just we're going to find out this here and this there, and we're going to find out this and that, and then nothing happens. I mean, the takeover news is really boring. There is a lot of BS news out today. I'm mostly talking about Hojlund. There is a few other stories coming out today. There's a lot of BS stories coming out today on the takeover. People pretending they've got sources as well. And I think we've just got to be all positive. What I do want to get into, and I think this is quite funny, is hypocrite. This is to do with the takeover, but it's not so much news. It's more hypocrites FC. Because I tell you what, the amount of hypocrites when it comes to the Man United takeover out there, I tell you that now. But Andy Burnham, the mayor of Greater Manchester, asked about the prospect of the Qatar takeover at Manchester United. He said, no one feels comfortable about Qataris taking over Man United. If you're the mayor of Manchester and the Qataris come into Manchester United with a project that's going to invest in the Greater Manchester area, improve the stadium, improve the facilities, improve the Greater Manchester area, provide jobs and opportunities to people in Manchester, surely as the mayor, you would prefer that than Sir Jim Ratcliffe coming to United, borrowing money, not improving his facilities, letting it rot even more, and coming on with a tight budget. And, as the mayor of Manchester, you didn't have a problem with sovereign wealth buying Man City. So why do you have a problem with sovereign wealth buying Man United? Hypocrisy, hypocrisy, hypocrisy. You can't think it's okay for them to buy Newcastle or Man City, then all of a sudden have a problem with it when they're buying United. You either have a problem with it or you don't. You shouldn't be saying, it shouldn't happen because they're buying United, but it should be pushing for it to happen for Newcastle and City. The amount of hypocrites I tell you that for a fact. Also, you just got to look at it from a logical perspective. It is the Glazers staying, Sergeant Ratcliffe or Qatar. Okay? I'm not saying that Qatar is perfect, but it takes anyone with a brain cell to look at that and go, well, Qatar is what's best for United from a footballing perspective and from an investment perspective. Glazers is worst case scenario. Sergeant Ratcliffe, people at Nice, the Nice bloody president is coming out and saying that Sergeant Ratcliffe shows no ambition in Nice. The Nice captain is coming out saying Sergeant Ratcliffe shows no ambition in Nice. So you've got Sergeant Ratcliffe that got the Swiss club he owns relegated, and Nice people, the president and captain of Nice, saying he shows no ambition. You've got Glazers, Dividends FC, and then you've got Qatar. But the most outrage from the media is coming at Qatar buying United. And like, yes, you know, there are some issues there. There are human rights issues, blah, 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 blah. I'm not stupid. But how can you have this big problem with Qatar that have no problem with the Glazers and no problem with Sir Jim, who are using the club to make money, when Qatar are going to invest in the club, improve the facilities, improve the Greater Manchester area? For me, it makes no sense. Using my brain cells, if I'm thinking what is best for United and what's going to make us the best possible team, it is Qatar. Potentially, there's a billionaire out there with funds in a similar level to Qatar, who could want to buy United and actually could have a better project than Qatar, you know. But we haven't got that offer. You've got to look at the offers we've had, and I just think there's so much hypocrisy in this takeover. Just like people, I think people have agendas against the Middle East. You know, look, I understand human rights issues and I understand that people don't like certain things, and I don't agree with how, you know, they've treated women and gay people over there. But my point is, they will be the best owners of Manchester United. And my point is, we haven't done things brilliantly in the UK. The US hasn't done things brilliantly either. So Jim Ratcliffe isn't a moral person. So Jim Ratcliffe has done some dodgy stuff. So if you're going to write and say, oh, Qatar have done this, this and that, we've also got to talk about what Sir Jim Ratcliffe's done, because he's no better. And I think the takeover is just full of hypocrisy, and hopefully something will actually happen. But the best thing is that happens is the Glazers go. The worst thing that happens is the Glazers stay. And as I've said, the best thing for Manchester United is to get Qatar owners. 100%. The best thing that can happen to United is us getting Qatari owners, us getting Sheikh Yassim in, because he will improve the stadium, he will improve the facilities, and he will invest in the squad. So, you know, that is the best thing that can happen to United. But it's all very quiet, and I could not tell you what's going to happen to United. I had a feeling, and I heard things that made me confident that it was going to be a done deal between United and Qatar, but then that went quiet. And maybe I heard the same things that Rio had heard from someone, because the source that told me that, I trusted them, but maybe I heard the same things that Rio had heard. I don't know. I don't know who generally to believe. I generally don't know who to believe with the whole takeover news this way, which is why I've not really covered it much on the channel. And when I have covered it, I've been just almost laughing at it, because you just don't know what to believe as well. But we'll get back onto Rasmus Hojlund in a second. I'm just going to scroll down in the live chat as well. Love your updates, Alice Best on YouTube. Big up everybody in the chat. Really appreciate it as well. Yeah, I mean, just weird politicians. Yeah, I mean, it's the hypocrisy. You know, the Middle East can own Man City and Newcastle, but the Middle East can't own Man United. Like, pipe down as well. Someone said United signed Vardy. What? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the British media has been, I'm just reading some comments here, a lot of the British media has been negative about the Qataris as well. The people are, and I look, I'm not stupid. The problem is the media will talk about the Qataris and they'll talk about all the negative things the Qataris have done. But, you know, as a country, Britain have done some negative things, America have done some negative things, but they won't talk about that. It is a bit of an agenda against the Qataris in the media as well. And yeah, they just, the thing is, I don't get it. You know, it would be brilliant if a boyhood Manchester boy became a billionaire and bought United. It would be brilliant if he was going to be a good owner of United. But I don't understand these people that want Man United to have English owners. I don't know why. It's like, you know, when those people want us to have all British players, you know, when we were Brexit FC and people would rather have Maguire play over Varane because Maguire's British. I don't get it. It'd be nice to have England be the best team in the world and have the best manager in the world and have the best owner in the world at United. But football is not about nationality. It's about who's going to be the best and who's going to be the best owner and who's going to be the best player. And there's people out there that want British players and obsessed with British players. And it's like, well, if a Spanish player or a French player or a Nigerian player or even a Japanese player could do the same, if not better job, we should be going for them. And it's the same with ownership. The BBC saying Jim Ratcliffe, he's British. Oh, Jim Ratcliffe's British. Jim Ratcliffe has no ambition. He's going to put more debt on the club. And literally everyone at Nice, including the captain and president of Nice, has said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is not a good owner. But they are bum licking Sir Jim's arse because he's British. But the facts state that Jim Ratcliffe has not been a good owner of Nice. He got the Swiss club he owns relegated, and he doesn't have good intentions for United as well. So there's a lot of hypocrites out there in the media, and I don't get the media being very anti-Qatar at the moment, but not having a problem with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And going back to the mayor, Qatar invested in the Manchester area. Qatar pumped money into the Manchester area. So Jim's not going to be pumping money into improving the Manchester area. So as the mayor of Manchester, Qatar surely should be what they want. But as a fan of United, if Sir Jim Ratcliffe was genuine, if he was going to rebuild the stadium and promise the same level of investment as Qatari, I wouldn't have a problem with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But the reason I have a problem with Sir Jim Ratcliffe is because he wants the Glazers to stay. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is buying the club by borrowing money, by putting more debt in the club, which he's going to put on Ineos. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has not been a good owner of the two other clubs he's owned, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe is getting in bed with the Glazers and letting the Glazers have an opportunity to stay at United longer to buy the club. That is 3 massive red flags in the Sir Jim Ratcliffe bed for me. So that's why I've not been a big fan of Ratcliffe as well. A lot of people, I'm just reading some chats here as well, saying people at Manchester want Qatar, don't know what the mayor's on about as well. I mean, yeah, he had no problem when Dubai brought Man City. It doesn't make sense to me. But I'll just scroll down the chat as well. The media is trying to turn this takeover into a flag waving outside. The takeover should be about what's best for United. The Glazers staying, worst case scenario. So Jim Ratcliffe coming in, well, he might keep the Glazers here. He's buying the club on debt. He's been said to be a bad owner at Nice. Well, so Jim Ratcliffe's not particularly appealing. Qatar want to clear the debt completely, take United out of debt, build a brand new stadium, training facility, invest in the women and youth team. And the women's team has been neglected very, very badly, I'll tell you that. So out of those 3 options, which one's best? That's really difficult. No, it's not. Qatar. So I don't know. I hate the takeover because the media's made it about politics when we should just sit down and say who's clearing the debt, who's investing the most, who's most likely to get Man United back at the top. Qatar. There's your answer. But it always turns into a little bit more than that, which is annoying when it comes with the takeover as well. People saying breaking Rasmus Hojlund's a done deal already. Where did you get that source from, Clinton? As well. And even if Ratcliffe buys United, that's brutal. I didn't even finish reading the chat. Brutal. But he's like in his 70s, isn't he, as well? Ratcliffe sold his soul to the Glazers. He did. And the thing about Ratcliffe is, and I think Qatar will look to buy another club if they can't get United, but Ratcliffe tried to buy Chelsea less than a year before he went to try and buy United. A year and a half ago, Ratcliffe was trying to buy Chelsea, and then a year later, he's trying to buy Manchester United. It's like, well, you've got a season ticket to Chelsea, so yeah. Women's team lost Russo. She's very good for a woman. She left for Arsenal. And do you know what? Russo's wages would have cost less than the Glazers' 250 grand trip on Man United expenses to London. They had a 250 grand trip, which they put on the Man United expenses to London, the Glazers. And they could have kept Russo here, best female player. But the women's team's neglected. They're getting injuries. The men's team is, we're investing and we're getting better. But that's been, the fact that we've not finished above Man City the last 10 years is a disgrace. We've not won a Premier League the last 10 years or even got past the Premier League, a Champions League quarter-final in probably longer than 10 years is an absolute disgrace. The fact that we've spent so much money on crap's an absolute disgrace as well. The way that the Glazers run this club, it is an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace, the owners. That's all I can say on it. They've completely neglected the team. You know, Manchester United should be winning Premier Leagues. Manchester United should be winning Champions Leagues. Manchester United should not be worrying every season if this is going to be a season we finish in the top 4 or not. You know, how many times in the last 10 years have we realistically thought we could maybe win the title? Maybe once when we're actually in that title race under Ollie and we were top at Christmas or top in January. You know what? Like, there's not actually been a period since Alex Ferguson's left where I realistically thought United are going to win the league this season. Not once. We're always thinking, will we get top 4 or not? That's not what United should be doing. United shouldn't be going into every summer going, are we going to get top 4 or not this season? Man United shouldn't be investing around getting top 4. I feel the investment at United is, you know, we need to get them in the top 4 to get our Champions League revenue. It's not let's build on getting 3rd place and let's win the Premier League. It's we just need to make sure they're consistently getting top 4. And, you know, we will fall behind. I think the business we're doing this summer is good. I feel very positive about what Man United have been doing this summer, and I'm a big fan of the business we're doing of Hojlund and Nana, Mount and Amrabat. I think we're addressing key areas, but, you know, we're never going to be where we want to be until the players go as well. People saying United should look at Taremi, potentially if there's money at the end of the window, just to back up Rasmus Hojlund so we don't take a bit of pressure off him. I think Taremi would be a smart move just for a little bit, as well. Wayne Rooney is definitely underrated as well, 100% underrated as well. I don't know that player that someone's naming to me as well. And our academy and women's team has been badly neglected. Yeah, 100%. Want 275 likes. Let's go for 300 likes. I don't know if you read up on this, but Ten Hag actually making some big changes to the academy. Ten Hag has spoken to the academy and is rebuilding the academy, and he's saying he wants the academy to mirror the way we play in the first team. He wants the way the academy plays to mirror how we play in the first team, which is what Ajax did. Because if you're playing long ball, counter-attacking football at under 18s and under 23s, and then Ten Hag wants to play possession-based football, you're not built for it. Ten Hag is saying from literally like the ages of 10 upwards, we're going to be playing Ten Hag ball in the academy. We're going to be playing this style of football, this style of play with this style of players. So the very best will know how I want to play and can easily be utilised into the squad. Do you know what I mean? Ten Hag is making those changes to the academy, which I think are really smart changes that Manchester United need to make. And I think United should have done that years ago as well. So big up Ten Hag for that. Guys, do subscribe down below to the channel if you're new. I go live every single evening on the channel, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more as well. And of course, people saying, will Maguire leave? Maguire's wages are heavy. And Maguire doesn't seem to have a desire to leave. McTominay is open to leaving, and that just depends if you. So McTominay will leave if West Ham give United what they want from McTominay. Maguire will leave if he decides to leave. McTominay is open to leaving. Maguire's on the fence about leaving because Maguire is going to be on over 200 grand a week to sit on the bench at United, and he won't even get 100 grand a week if he leaves. So, and Maguire knows he can sit on the bench at United and still play every week in the Euros as well. Still play every week. Enzo Lafie is coming on for Rennes right in front of my eyelids. Says Daniel. Enzo Lafie would have been a nice little thing for United this summer. Nice little addition, but we didn't do that. Got over 1,000 people watching, so do smash the like button and subscribe as well. Wayne Rooney for me is better than Kane. His best English player was Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney's unbelievable. I think they're both unbelievable players, but Wayne Rooney's ability to almost be a playmaker, to be a midfielder at times, his versatility. Wayne Rooney will go down as one of the most underrated players in Premier League history as well. And you know what bugs me? People compare Phil Foden to him. Phil Foden's never been a regular in that Man City squad, regular starter week in, week out. Man City's treble-winning side, Phil Foden, yeah, he has a part to play, and he has a good part to play, but he's not a week in, week out starter. And people comparing Phil Foden to Wayne Rooney, saying Phil Foden's the only player to live up to Rooney's legacy. No, he has not. Do not disrespect Wayne Rooney like that. Wayne Rooney is one of the greatest English players of all time. Phil Foden has been spoken about to be the greatest English player of all time and is a good player, but Phil Foden has not, yes, he's won a lot with Man City, but has not established himself as a great because he doesn't play week in, week out for City. And it winds me up when people keep calling Phil Foden Rooney level talent. Rooney showed it. Phil Foden's shown glimpses of it, not consistently. But yeah, Wayne Rooney and Paul Scholes, they are very underrated players. I always read up in these, you know, those stupid people that write football posts for the sake of it and they don't know anything about football, and they'll go, and they'll write a list of most overrated Premier League players. I read this thing and someone said the most 10 overrated Premier League players, and they put Wayne Rooney and Paul Scholes in there because their goals and assist stats weren't the best. And they're so overrated. I'm like, no, like if you have eyes, if you watch football, you know that Paul Scholes was unbelievable. You know that Wayne Rooney was unbelievable. Xavi and Iniesta was like, yeah, you know what, Paul Scholes, He's the best player I ever played against. He's the best player I've ever played against. Or best midfielder they played against. Like, that's who they rate. And they rate them for a very, very solid and strong reason as well. Man United are at San Diego preparing for that final game against Borussia Dortmund, which I guess technically is tomorrow. But it's obviously Monday, but it's late night Thursday, late night Sunday as well. Anyone who questions Rooney knows nothing about football exactly as well. Interesting chat here. Eric Ten Hag's flanks overlap not helping. Keep eye on the flanks, detailing close markings. Eric Ten Hag, I trust you will let us play hard, not softy. Interesting. I think that Ten Hag wants the fullbacks to get higher up. Do you know what? It's a big season for Anthony, and it's a big season for Sancho as well. Big season as well. Also, the next summer would be the dream. Sancho and Hojlund as nines this season. I mean, look, I want Rashford on the wing. And I thought Sancho looked all right, false nine. So, yeah, I think Sancho could be better central than Rashford, which is a bit of an unpopular opinion as well. Maguire's still a Man United player. We should have accepted 20 million from West Ham. No, I get rejecting 20 million. You know, we paid 80 million for the guy. It's not as bad as we think. 30 million we accept for Maguire. Anything under 30 million we don't accept for Maguire. And I get, because you've got to think, if we sell Maguire, we've got to bring in a centre back. You're not going to be able to bring in many centre backs for less than 20 million pounds. 30 million pounds, you can get a solid centre back, whether it be Pavard, whether it be Todibo. For me, I get us rejecting 20 million for Maguire. I think 20 million was a joke for a bid. I think he's worth 30 million, but I do think we should sell Maguire and McTominay, because, as we said multiple times, their value is going to decrease so much. You know, their value is absolutely going to decrease so much in the next sort of year. So we do really should sell them, because they're not going to play loads. Are we in the market for Kimmich? No. I'd like us to be. It's fake news. There was rumours linking United to Kimmich, but it was fake news as well. Yeah. And people saying Mason Greenwood got an approval from Adidas. There was a report today that said that Mason Greenwood had approval from Adidas to come back. And then another report today said that they spoke to someone from Adidas and they said that was not true. So it's like the takeover. There's reports on Greenwood, but actually none of them are proven to be true as well. So yeah, what's the most disappointing thing about pre-season is the fact that we haven't seen enough goals from the original players. We didn't see goals versus Real Madrid. We saw goals versus Arsenal, and we only saw goals in the second half versus Lyon and Leeds. What I'd like to see from Dortmund is that first half team scoring more goals. We're not seeing enough goals, and I think that would be my one negative on pre-season, is I want to see more goals from United as well. And can't wait to this lad Hojlund's in the team. I think McTominay should stay and Maguire will go. I think, McTominay could have more use. He is younger, but I think McTominay's more likely to go. We're 71 likes away from 400 likes. Can we hit 400 likes? People do smash that like button. If you glazes out, of course, smash that like button. I'm going to see if there's any more sort of news stories coming out. A lot of the news stories is on Rasmus Hojlund at the moment. And I do quickly want to cover that, but I might make a little video on Hojlund and why he's going to be a fantastic signing for Manchester United in just a second. But there is sort of reports coming out that there is an agreement between United and Rasmus Hojlund, and that the deal is getting closer and by the minute. We know that the deal will be about £60 million, including add-ons, so maybe about 50 million up front. I think United will pay something like 52 million up front and 6 million add-ons. And then we had Fabrizio Romano confirm that Hojlund to United is in the final stages. And there is the feeling that Hojlund is expected to stay in England for the game. There's a lot of people sort of talking about Hojlund being in England and maybe United wanting to get the deal done, particularly today or tomorrow, because Hojlund will be in England and he won't need to bother getting a return flight as well. So they're saying there's a strong chance the medical for Hojlund could be done today. It was also said by Di Marzio, not only is Hojlund in England, but you've actually got to remember that Hojlund's representatives are in England as well, which can definitely help the deal speed along. And Di Marzio did say that Atalanta and United's representatives met on Friday in England to try and seal a deal for Rasmus Hojlund. The agreement has not been reached, but talks are progressing. So lots of people in England, and things are definitely moving in that sense as well. Just scrolling through the chat as well. McTominay does hide. I think that's the one weak point of McTominay, is he works hard, but he's just someone that he doesn't collect the ball off the centre backs and progress it well. Do you think Man United will make a statement signing before the window closes? I think we'll sign Hojlund. I think we'll sign Amrabat. And I think there could be one more depending on outs. But I don't know if it would be a statement signing. I mean, if it's a Harry Kane or an Mbappe, wow. But I really can't see it happening. Maybe if we've got Qatar, we could make a statement signing. But even if we get Qatar announced next week, they're not going to be sorted by the end of the transfer window. We've got the Glazers for the transfer window, but hopefully this is the last ever transfer window we have with the Glazers. But maybe a statement signing of someone like Kane in January is possible. But I think a lot of it would depend on if we got Qatar or not. And even if we get Qatar and they announce next week we have Qatar, which is very unlikely, we still wouldn't have Qatar for the transfer window because still so much would need to be done, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure if there will be a statement signing. But look, guys, I've got loads to do today, so I am going to have to wrap up the live stream about 5 minutes earlier, 5 minutes earlier than normal. So yeah, please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. As Hojlund's England, they're trying to save on private plane trip. That's a good one. But please do smash that like button. Subscribe down below if you're new to the channel. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope that was informal on Hojlund, and we spoke a little bit about Hojlund and what he would add to United. Could get Here We Go tonight for Hojlund. Any other club would have a Here We Go tonight for Hojlund, but it is United. You just don't know if you can get Here We Go or not. But yeah, smash a like, smash a subscribe. Glazers out. See you next time, and bye.